Hello there, this is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. Welcome to our Fireside chat. We are going to discuss a really unique and an unusual specialty master's degree. It's actually in integrated marketing communications, and it's from the Medill School at Northwestern University. And we have with us today Vijay, the Associate Dean of the program, who also is a professor at Medill and at the McCormick School of Engineering. Welcome, Vijay.
John, great to meet you and really happy to talk to your audience today.
Same here. You know, when I did my graduate degree in journalism, I wish it had some of the elements of your degree because it really gets people comfortable with the quantitative nature of data and how to use data for both decision making and, frankly, for reporting, communicating, marketing. The other fascinating thing about the program that I like is you can take it full-time at Evanston, or you can take it completely online or online and your Chicago campus, which gives you a lot of variety. But tell me what the degree covers, who's attracted to it, and what it best serves.
Great questions. Let me try and do my best here. So we really pride ourselves on whole brain marketing communications. That means we love combining the art and science of marketing and communications. So we're not a pure creative school and we are not a pure engineering analytics school. What we teach our students is how do you use creativity? How do you solve business problems in a creative fashion to truly drive business outcomes? And so that's what our program has been all about. We really focus on marketing and marketing communications quite a bit. So as opposed to other schools where you can take 4 courses and say you are specialized in marketing, we offer a whole slew of courses on marketing communications. So in our full-time program, students have to complete 18 credits, but we have about 40 courses all around marketing and marketing communications. And this full-time program typically is very international. So we have a fair amount of people coming from different parts of the world and also locally from here in different parts of the United States. And the online and part-time programs that we are referring to, we just merged them and now we call it the IMC Professional Master's Program. So that is a slightly smaller batch, but with people with more years of work experience, typically with at least 5 years of work experience. They might have had an undergrad in marketing or communications or a related degree, and they're like, how can I step up my career? What's next for me? How do I get those strategic skills? And that's what we train them in the program for. So it's also a lot of flexibility, as you rightly said. You can take courses in downtown Chicago, or you can take them online. And so these are our 2 graduate programs that we've been running now for some time.
And people who graduate from the program, what kind of careers would they pursue?
So in the full-time program where people are coming with a few years of work experience, about 60% of our graduates find jobs with brands and companies, or what's often referred to as the client side. So they're working for CPG companies, and increasingly we see them also getting into the technology sector, companies like Uber and Salesforce in the Bay Area. About 25% of our students graduate and move on to agencies, the Leo Burnett's of the world, and FCBs, Performex, to name a few. And then there are a few others who get into consulting and higher ed and nonprofits. So that's the job profile for our full-time program.
Interesting.
In the IMC professional program, they already have jobs. And so they are working professionals. Often they're coming to us with backgrounds. They're working in agencies, smaller boutique agencies, or they're working for slightly larger firms and they're really trying to step up their career and say, how do I go from a mid-level to a senior level executive? And those are sort of people that we find in our programs.
Right. So, and at the core of the program, I mean, what you're basically teaching is a mindset to better understand the consumer.
You couldn't have put it better. That's exactly been our mantra now for the last 30 years or so since we founded the program. We wholly believe in the concept of customer centricity. So customer centricity, customer engagement, customer experience, these are core tenets of our program. And I often tell my students, it's good to follow the money, but often it's more useful to follow the consumer because that's where you want to be.
That's really true. And the other thing, though, that this dovetails with, I think this dovetails with two very big and important trends in business. The first trend you just basically mentioned, which is a customer-focused, customer-centric view of business, where you understand what the consumer needs, satisfy those needs, delight your customer, and you will incur loyalty and profit. The second part of this is the rise of data analytics and the fact that more and more companies and more organizations are finding themselves drowning in data, so much data that they don't know how to harness it and use it effectively. So really, these are two major trends that have been impacting business now. And you seem to be marrying them in this program and giving people the tools to take advantage of that.
You know, many of our faculty actually refer to our program as a consumer-centric, data-driven way of marketing communication.
Right.
So that's exactly who we are. You know, the field of market research is being quickly replaced with a lot of data science. You know,
right.
That's how you truly understand what's going on in the marketplace, what's going on in consumer lives, and that data really informs you on, you know, what your strategy should be to really compete in the marketplace. So it really makes a lot of sense to marry the two, as you said.
Now, one thing that I like about the program a lot is you have experiential learning in it. So talk a little bit about the projects that you are basically matching students with in real corporations.
Yeah, we have a whole host of experiential learning opportunities, and we are in the process of actually having distinct ones for the full-time program and a separate set of ones for the IMC professional program, because the students are at different stages in their career and have slightly different needs. But at the core of it is really taking students outside their comfort zone, you know, putting them in an international location and working on a 5-day intense immersive project, typically with a client. And you have a faculty advisor, but you're working in small teams and trying to accomplish something of strategic importance for the client. So we have a 5-day class in London, for instance, which is incredibly popular. So we work with companies there on a real world project. In 5 days, students work in teams, burn the midnight oil, and come up with an amazing presentations. And we do that in Chile, in Asia, and we are actually planning to expand that even more. We also do that in the US in San Francisco, where with a design thinking class or a marketing technology class, where our IMC professional students come together, work in small teams. So we really bridge experiential learning with teamwork and immersive learning to really deliver something of importance.
Now, at Poets and Quants, we often talk about the left brain and the right brain. It seems to me that this program is both. It's quanty and it's creative. But should the creative types be afraid of the quant in the program?
That's a great question, and you'll be surprised. Yes, they are. You know, you are doing something outside your comfort zone, but the curriculum is structured that it opens up the swimming lanes, as we say. You are free to swim anywhere in the swimming pool. You don't have to stick to your lane. And so, in fact, just this summer, we have what's called the Immersion Quarter, which is our summer internships based with team-based, though, not individuals. And I just was supervising a project where one of the students said, "They're calling me a data scientist." And I said, "Just wear the hat." And she wore it, and she's got a job offer, and she thought she was a creative one. So, you know, think about it, the possibilities are endless. So if you open your mind, anything's possible. Yeah?
And I'm assuming that the class diversity is such that there will be quant types and there'll be creative types, and both will help each other build on their strengths and minimize their weaknesses, which is the beauty of a program like this.
And exactly. And that's how we've laid out the curriculum, so that everyone has the same foundational courses. And then they can choose areas that they really want to build expertise in, and to the extent they want to. So you want to be a whole and whole data scientist, you could do that. But if you want to see, how do I build a brand strategy with data science, you could do that too. And so actually we see a lot more students doing that, and they're actually really successful. We've had plenty of alumni who have really climbed up the corporate ladder very quickly in the last 15 years and taken on senior roles and even C-suite roles. So it's been really proud for our program.
Now, Vijay, if I had the opportunity to talk to a few graduates of your program, and I asked them what would be the 3 hallmarks of the experience, the things that you remember most that had the greatest impact on you that you really embraced and enjoyed? What would the three things be?
I've been actually talking to plenty of our alumni, so hopefully I can answer that. So the first thing they really said is you have prepared us for a career, not just our first job. And so we were one of the first to really get into direct marketing and database marketing and data science. And so with the age of the internet, they've been really well prepared to lead their organizations. So what we really tell students is, don't think of this as a degree that's going to help you get your first job. You're really trying to help you prepare for the next 20 years. So figuring out strategy is really important. The second thing is really soft skills. We focus a lot on teamwork and how do you really work with each other. And that's really important because as firms really try and navigate different challenges and face different shocks, it's going to be really important to collaborate with different partners within and outside the organization. And the third one is really leadership. How do I lead? Who am I as a brand? What do I stand for? And how can I effectively lead myself and my team? So we also focus a lot on the soft skills in our program. And this is something that alumni keep coming back to us and saying, thank you for teaching me the fundamentals of leadership, because with those hard skills, I have the soft skills to really have a promising career. And so I think that's what they often come back and tell me.
Yeah, that's great. It surprises me on some level that this program is housed in the Medill School. This sounds just like a real business, a specialty master's degree. How did it come to be that way?
So we were originally in the School of Commerce, and that's what Kellogg was called before it was called Kellogg.
Right.
And at some point, we moved to the School of Journalism because it just made a lot of sense. At that time, the newspapers had journalists, but the revenue came from advertising. And so it just made a lot of sense for us to move into the middle school. Then over time, we have, of course, gradually evolved with changing technologies and changes in the marketplace and really found a niche for ourselves. So I do say we are in the business of advertising. And I tell our students, first, you should have a strong passion for marketing, and you should have a focus on accountability, because that's a huge problem in marketing. Often CMOs are not in the C-suite because they're not able to explain what all those marketing dollars do. So if you're in the business, then you got to be accountable. And that's why we really focus on the analytics and the financial outcomes.
That's true. And having data and using data as evidence to back up your assertions,
absolutely,
incredibly important for a creative person to gain credibility in an organization.
Absolutely. I worked for 5 years with Unilever, and I remember we changed the compensation model for agencies and moved from what's the creative aspect of your campaigns to what's the business results. And you've seen a huge change in the field, and accordingly, we have changed our curriculum to make sure that our students succeed when they graduate and take up these challenging roles.
Exactly, because what gets measured gets managed. And measurement is important, as I'm sure you teach in the program. Now, it's a 2-year program, basically, the full-time one, with an internship.
15 months. It's 15 months.
15 months.
Less than 2 years. Students come here in fall, and they graduate the following December in winter. So it's a 15-month program, which also means it's fairly intense. You're going to learn a lot in a very quick span of time.
And how large is an incoming cohort generally?
In the full-time program, we have about 120 students who come in typically every year. Yeah, and about definitely more than half international. And in the IMC professional program, we have about 60 students joining us every year from different parts of the world and the US, and again, a range of backgrounds. So very diverse, and that's again been a hallmark of our program.
Yeah, so it's a large enough group to have critical mass and to gain the diversity you're seeking, but small enough so everyone knows each other. It feels very much like a family environment, and everyone is kind of pulling for each other.
Absolutely. Our faculty know the names of every student here. This is not a large program. At the same time, there's a very rich set of backgrounds and experiences that students share with each other. So there's a lot of collaborative learning that goes on in the classroom.
Now, Vijay, is it highly selective or not?
We are Northwestern, so we are highly selective, I must confess. And so we do have high standards for both programs. We are looking at your past academic performance. We're looking at definitely your GRE scores and your TOEFL scores. Many of that is, which is on the website. But let me reveal some secrets that maybe are not on our website for your audience. The first thing we're definitely looking for is, do you have a passion for marketing? That truly must come out in your application. And the second part is really about, are you interested in the art and science of it? If you have to, as you rightly said, marry the creativity with business outcomes, because that's what we are all about. That's what we see as the future. Even as we talk about concepts like artificial intelligence, you need to have creative solutions. And then we are totally committed to diversity even more. We want to have a diverse pool of applicants, a diverse pool of students entering our program, because we have learned that that's what makes for a great learning experience. And also we want to support our corporate partners who recruit our students. And I know there's a growing push to increase diversity in their organizations, and we really want to support them. So those are big areas of importance for us when a person is applying.
Vijay, in a way, I think that the name of the program almost sells it short. Like integrated marketing communication. I almost think this is like the art and the science of marketing. It really is, because you're marrying the two together. And I just, art and science together, that's like secret sauce, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, maybe we should rebrand ourselves as the whole brain marketing communication.
There you go. Exactly. So Vijay, what advice do you have for someone who's interested in the program, wants to find out more, and know if they're really well suited for it?
I would strongly encourage them to get in touch with our admissions team. And we also have a series of webinars. We tell students, to potential applicants, what our program is about. We often have faculty coming and talking about what they're teaching and where the world is going. So we strongly encourage them to engage with our admissions team so that they can know more about the program. Hopefully when campus reopens, they are more than welcome to come sit in our classes and be a guest student there and interact with other students so that they can truly experience what they would get out of the program. So those are a couple of things definitely I would encourage applicants to do.
And I imagine you have student ambassadors or alumni who would be willing to speak with prospective students and talk about the experience and how it shaped them.
Absolutely. Our alumni are doing great, and I encourage our applicants to really reach out to our alumni base, and you can find them pretty easily if you're on LinkedIn, or if you need any referrals, reach out to us. We have plenty of alumni in all parts of the world, to be honest, so it shouldn't be too hard, but we are always willing to make those connections for our applicants and learn more about the program.
That's great. Now, Vijay, I want you to take out your crystal ball, if you will, and tell me over the next 3 years how you think the program will evolve. Will there be new twists, new turns, new tweaks? We're going through an unprecedented period in our history, and I wonder how that will inform what you do over the next 3 years in the program.
We just did a full revamp of our curriculum just 2 years ago, Jim. Okay. And we saw some of the changes that were coming. And we decided to focus really on 3 areas. Consumer insights and analytics, as you rightly said. The other being brand management and strategic communications, which is becoming really important. Even brands like Uber have to figure out how to talk to the media, how to deal with the government. And the third part is really about media. The world of media is changing. There's a lot of computational stuff entering the world of media, say programmatic advertising. So we have some real focus areas that we had already decided on. So we are building our curriculum across those 3 areas. And I think even with the current shocks that have occurred, I think we are well placed to really teach students about how to position themselves when they graduate. Of course, we'll have to make a few changes to the content of our courses, but I think we have the right structure. And we will have experiential opportunities where students are always learning the latest. So, that's a real business problem happening at this point in time. That's what the experiential learning will give students. And they can work in teams, the faculty advisor and a client on a project of strategic importance, as I keep saying. So hopefully that will help them succeed when they enter the corporate world.
Well, it sounds to me like you're well positioned for the future and what the future needs, frankly, because as these two pieces integrate together and come together, it's really changed the game of marketing. And it sounds like your program really is terrific in preparing people for that future.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for that. And I really have to thank, we have a wonderful team of faculty here, and without them, and we are always thinking about what's next. We always go back to when this program was founded, that there were visionaries in this program. And now, we are the faces of the program, and we are always trying to think about how do we stay one step ahead. So, I think students will enjoy interacting with our faculty because we're always telling them, how do you prepare yourself and not playing catch up. So it's been great.
Vijay, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Same here. Thank you so much, John.
So there you have it. I think this is one of the more innovative and unusual specialty master's degrees to prepare people for, a very effective career in marketing and business. And as you already know, I mean, what I love about this is that it marries the creative with the quant.
Yes.
So for poets and quants, or for people who want to be both, you couldn't pick a better program.
It's been some time. I do wish we had connected earlier, but I'm happy to come back and talk about our program when there are other opportunities. So
I'd love that. I'd love to actually, when we can fly again and go and visit campuses, I'd love to come and, sit in a class or two, particularly that design thinking class, which I love design thinking.
Yes.
And meet some of your students.
Oh, it'll be a pleasure. I can't wait for that to happen. Yeah.
Vijay, stay safe and healthy.
You too, John. Thank you so much.
And for all of you out there, thanks for watching. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants.